Well, let's try it like this, and then we'll make adjustments, okay? We'll try it like this, and then we'll make adjustments. Hello, Madman. Hello, chat. Hello, Sloke. Trentino, I sent you an email. Just so you know. See, tier 9, it's every game. Tier 9 games, and I can't damage anyone, and they can all damage me. It's maybe it's the curse of this tank. It's like the now what am I gonna do versus him? I'm bigger, I've got less armor, and I'm always in tier 9 games. That's why I didn't like it. I think from the moment I unlocked it and I started playing it, I think I was immediately in tier 9 games. I don't think I've ever been top tier in this thing. So, what does my gun have? 175. So we're going, that's like the IS-6 gun. The old IS-6 gun. Maybe I got the wrong gun. Well, let's try our best here, guys. I'm bottom tier, so I'm going to just try and help my team as best I can. I'm going to go over here instead of the middle, okay? There's a KV-5. He's out for a nice ride. If one of our guys gets in here, the field is completely destroyed. That is an overpowered spot that Wargaming has included. Dude, what are you doing? Like, seriously. If one of our guys snuck in here, their whole field would be neutralized. And I don't know why they did that to this map. It's just stupid. But that's what they did. Let's try and surprise them with one shot. Into the dirt. Bad shot. Bad shot. Jeez. I know there's a window here, guys. I wish that Skoda would have neutralized that. I want to get a shot at the 7. He's stunned.
We didn't penetrate their armor.
T-29 has the perfect spot there for a T-29. KV-3. There's my counterpart. See if this hurts in the morning.
Enemy is hit. We lit that one up good.
KV-3, he's... The curse of the KV-3 is just garbage. We lit that one up good, guys.
Enemy armor is hit.
Might as well shoot my counterpart, because he can't... Because when you're useless, you're...
That one didn't go through. The radio man is down. We can only signal
The radio man.
vehicles.
It's nice to have artillery focusing you. The last shot never kills, does it? The kill shot never goes through, does it, guys? I managed to do more damage than I've ever done in this turd. Now I've provided cover for the E-75.
Lost to track.
Talk about being arty focused.
Get going.
I do not want to get hit by that SU. There he is. But I do want to hit him back. Oh, he shot. Nice T-95. Nice. I don't want to get... What's wrong with this tank? This is a great tank. This tank's overpowered. Why didn't I like it? I don't know. Oh. I guess I don't need the premium ammo anymore. What a great tank. This thing's amazing. It's incredible. The rising tide lifts all boats. Yep. It's my team. Legion 74 has subscribed for 2 months. Klaus, I truly enjoy your streams. And RNG bitch slaps. Oh, an RNG bitch slaps me as much as you. Oh, I could be shooting here, my friend. You made me miss out on damage. The KV-4 is better. I never liked this tank, but that was okay. Just, I guess you have to be very, very careful. Cover yourself. I don't think you're going to do a lot of bouncing in Tier 9 games with this thing. All right, let's do that. That was okay, wasn't it? Leopard did really well. I think he was playing in the field. That was okay. I didn't mind that. Well, what was all my complaining about? Well, I was in the city and I could spot people, but if you get out in an open map with this view range, that's what I'm going to start raging at, right? That's what I'm going to start. Was okay. That wasn't against same tier. I was fighting tier 9s. I penned the E75 in the turret, the roof, because this is the other thing. It's a Russian game, right? It's Russian. So we have special rule in the Russian game. This gun. Oh. 122 millimeter. 122 millimeter. So what does that mean? That means when you hit the roof of an E75, which is a tier 9 super heavy, is auto pen. So there's no need. You just, right? And when you hit this one, when this guy's hull down, and he's peeking, using his beautiful gun depression, this beautiful tank that I just got, at 12 degrees of gun turn, I'm just barely poking over the edge of a... all you can see is a tiny little sliver of the upper plate. Well, let's see. What does this have? Vehicle details. This has 35 millimeters of armor. What's 35 times 3? 105. This has a 122 millimeter gun. You shoot this at 99 degrees of angle. You hit the upper plate. Oh, it's auto pen. Yeah. Because Russian tank auto pen. But if you hit this as 80 degrees, auto bounce. That's how it works. All right. Well, should this guy be repairs or recon? Is recon really going to do it for me? Recon from a penetrate. Do you guys? Someone's asking a question. Do you guys really? Are there some here that don't know how that works? If you don't know how that works, just type in explain it, and I'll quickly explain it. Jampa7, thanks for the sub, buddy, and Levia Lee Falcon 130. Subscribe for 2 months. Thanks, buddy. Are you going to move them to the double barrel? Yeah, probably. And Darkwop has just subscribed again. Thanks for 2 years of entertainment on YouTube. Explain. Okay, someone wants to explain? Because I'm making a joke, right? I'm going, oh, it's Russian game. But that's how it works, right? That's one of the reasons that some tanks are utter garbage and so frustrating. And I'll explain it with it, because I'm grinding the Swedish line, right? The way if you know this already, guys, I'll try and do it quickly. But there you can read the whole wiki about how penetration works, right? And your shell, and when you hit angled armor, it calculates using trigonometry the effective armor, right? So look, you look at this, and it's a fantastic angle on this upper plate. Hey, Ambo, well, thanks for the bits, buddy, and welcome to the stream. So when something's angled so well like this, like I'll show you, like something like this. You see this? You see that upper plate? That upper plate, if he's straight on you, it's like, I don't know the exact angle, but it looks to be like it's almost 80 degrees, right? It's angle. So any kind of a little angle on this little light tank, and that upper plate is, what's the auto bounce angle? Is it 75 or 80? 75 or 80. I don't know what the auto, it's 75 or 80, but look at this tank. 70. Okay, 70 is the auto bounce angle. So, vehicle details. The upper plate of this is freaking 70 millimeters, okay? Remember that. The auto bounce angle is 70. So, this tank, it's almost 70 when it's just looking at you. I don't know, you have to go in Tank Inspector and do all this bullshit. But let's say this thing is angled and it's scooting by and you shoot it and you hit it right here. That upper plate, if it's more than 70 degrees, your shot comes in from an angle here and hits some armor that's angled more than 70 degrees, then the game does two things. It checks, well, what's the armor of that's angled at 70 degrees? And it checks, and it just happens to be 70 millimeters. Then it checks if your gun is 3 times the caliber of that armor. In which case, for this thing, what's 70 times 3? It's 210. Well, there are no guns that are 210 millimeters, right? There's no guns that are 210 millimeters. Are there? I don't think so. The Death Star is 183. So, if your gun is not 3 times the caliber of the armor, and it's more than 70 degrees, it's auto bounce. So you can shoot this thing with a Death Star, with a Tier 10 British Death Star, or the Jagdpanzeri 100 with 400 penetration. If this is angled like this and you hit this at 80 degrees, it'll go bing! We didn't even scratch them! There's a little bit of autocorrect and blah, 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 right? A little bit of normalization. The AP and APCR are normalized a little bit differently. You can read all that. I'm not going to get into that. But the gist of it is, if you're angled more, if your armor is more than 70 degrees, one of two things could happen. Auto bounce if your gun is not triple the caliber of the armor. So this thing drives around and you shoot it, and it fucking bounces everything. Russian light tank, okay? Then, this one, it has a even better angle on there. You're angled like this. You shoot it right here in the upper hull. That's like angled at that 90 degrees effective angle. Then the game says, is your gun 3 times the caliber of that armor? Well, you look at the armor of this thing. 35. 35 times 3 is 105. So any gun that's more than 105 does not auto bounce that. It auto pens that. You got it? Auto bounce, auto pen. It just happens, coincidentally, that almost all the Russian tanks, even the light ones, even the little ones, are blessed with, like where's the T-54 lightweight? Whatever. This is like this, a Tier 8 Russian light tank are blessed with armor that's never auto-penned, ever, in the game. Because there are no guns that are 200, 250, 300 caliber, right? Whereas many other lines, like this one, are cursed with armor that is always auto-penned. And what they did in this line, because I'm doing this line now, I'm doing the grind, you're auto-pen, 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 auto-pen. Every tank you play in this Swedish medium line is just free HP for high caliber Russian guns to shoot you. Because this one here If you side scrape from a corner with your rear mounted turret, you have 35 millimeters on your side. Auto pen. Doesn't matter what your angle is. If it's a KV3 shoot and you're a 120 millimeter gun, your front 35 auto pen. Right? The Leo that comes before it on the side, auto pen. The front 70 is not so bad. Then you get to the tier. It's only when you get to the tier 9 that finally you have 45 millimeters on your front. So what's 45 times 3? Thanks for the bits, Magnus 2K. What's 45 times 3? 80, 120, 135. So you can start auto bouncing 120 millimeter guns, but not off your side. 40, 80, 120. Your side is 40. 135, yeah. So you're going to auto bounce 122 millimeter guns. But look at this thing. The tier 9 Swedish with the rear mounted turret, if you pull out, you know how you side scrape, pull out to side scrape and shoot? If I'm playing a KV3 with a 122 millimeter gun, I don't aim. I just hit the side. Hit the side. Hit the side. The side has 40 millimeters. 40 times 3 is 120. My gun is 122 on the KV3. Auto pen. Tier 9, right? And finally, you get to tier 10. Finally, you get to tier 10. And you have, 50 and 50. So you can auto bounce. You can side scrape and you can go hull down and start bouncing some shots. It's not till you, and then people say, oh, it gets better when you get to tier 10. Yeah, because you have to grind for 9 tiers of getting just auto penned by Russian tanks. And I say Russian tanks, but they have the high caliber guns, right? The Chinese. And so many tanks are like that, right? For example, we're going to show you one more, and then we're going to keep playing. Like, I learned this in the Death Star the hard way, right? British. This thing. Rear mounted turret. So my tendency when I plated this was to, because it's rear mounted turret, right? Let's put a window up there. There's a building, right? So I would side scrape, reverse side scrape, like this, right? Get my angle to like 80 degrees, like that, right? And then you pull back with your rear mounted turret, reverse side scrape, you pull back, you turn your gun, boom, you shoot, and then you side scrape the building again like that, right? That's what I was doing in the Death Star. Well, the Death Star has 50 millimeters of side armor. Okay? So conveniently, you're in tier 10, so you will face tier 10 Russian tanks, like for instance the Object 27, this one, that has a 152 millimeter gun. So stupidly, I'm playing the Death Star like, oh, it's rear mounted, side scraping. So I'm side scraping, and I'm fighting these new Russian tanks that have come out. This is before I, checked. And like the new objects, just conveniently 152 millimeters. So when this guy sees this guy side scraping, he just has to shoot the side here. Auto pen. Auto pen. So you're better off in this thing to pull out like this. Pull out at an angle, like that, and try and get them to shoot your upper plate, because your upper plate is 150, and maybe you'll get a bounce. And then you take your shot. Because if you side scrape versus all the new objects, all the power creep, they all have 152 millimeter guns now, because 122... You're just going to get auto penned, and you got to learn that stuff if you're playing the big Russian tanks. What does this one have? I'm not sure what this one has. The reward tank has 122 millimeters. So this cannot auto pen the Death Star, but it can auto pen. It can auto pen that thing I was driving. This thing. It can auto pen this thing in the side and the front. So anyways, that's my little... just check which... especially if you're going down the lines and you're playing tanks with high caliber guns like this one, 122. If you're going down the Russian line or the Chinese line, or you got TDs with big guns, you're driving a tank that has a 152 millimeter gun, spend some time and learn who has less than 50 millimeters of side armor. If you got the Object 705A, thanks for the bits there, Absolute. You got a gun that has 152 caliber, 152 millimeter caliber gun. Find out who has less than 50 millimeters of side armor, and when they're angled, you know, in any way, doesn't matter, just shoot the side. And if you learn that stuff, you'll troll people. BNJ.